Barely on time. Holy hell. Ugh. I swear, Twitter is such shit. Just from a design perspective. Um, I could swear I had a tweet, like, wherever. You know how it stores your tweet as long as you don't close the tab or whatever? For whatever reason, Twitter just kind of stopped doing that. I was going to tweet out about the stream, and it deleted the tweet that I had written. I was like, well, great. Thanks, Twitter. Very cool. Anyway, I'm here to play Mario Kart for the last time this year. Now that sounds all big and grand, but I mean, it's really just for a couple of weeks. Because it's late December, and 2024 is coming up. It'll be great. New Year's, I mean. New Year's will be fun. Oh, man. CT Worldwide. Let's do it. Let me bring up the TXT. Is that Beef Boss, the man himself? Damn. What a cool dude. What a homie. Anyways, I don't think there's that, well, there's like two enormous things to talk about in politics. But apart from that, it's mostly just like dumb discourse shit, some of which hits close to home, which is why I would talk about it in the first place. You know how I did that segment on, like, do the straights even like women or whatever? That was related to another thing where a lot of people just hate men, too. I feel like a lot of people, you know, when I said that conservatives are misanthropic, I did mean misanthropic. They don't just dislike women, they also dislike men. And they dislike human life in general. Unfortunately, it's not just conservatives that think like that. It's unfortunately a lot of people, some of whom consider themselves to be on the left, but nonetheless hold very reactionary views about other people. It's really dumb, honestly. But for whatever reason, people will take those opinions seriously, I guess. Well, not for whatever reason. People have always been as stupid as they appear to be now. The only difference between the way that stupidity is expressed is that now the internet provides just enough anonymity to shield people from accountability for saying the stupidest thing you've ever heard in your life. Whereas back in the day, usually the only context in which you could express that would have been an anonymous comment that you would have to go further out of your way to submit, or, you know, in a public setting. In which case, there's a lot more impetus for you to not say anything. You know what I mean? But I'll get to that when I get to that, I think. Right now, we're driving on Dragon Burial Grounds. No way, dude! Ah! Man, okay. First race of the day, I gotta... No, what the fuck? I keep getting bumped like a motherfucker. Alright, alright, alright. Let's try this again. I need an item box. Very badly, I need one. Okay. That's something. I'm gonna chain this. There we go. Cool. Are you winning, streamer? No, not right now. In fact, I am losing both in the game. I'm losing to Beef Boss. But I'm also losing brain cells because of some shit that's been happening over the past couple of days. One of them actually is so insane that, like, I legitimately didn't think that this level of stupidity that I saw in the news recently was possible, you know? But apparently it was. I'm not gonna risk that. Blooper, the best item. Okay, now I'm winning. Yes. Yes. My devious, ingenious plan. Ah, fuck. Never mind. My plan is no more. Who needs brain cells anyway? The news is so dumb. Bad the state of our media. That's true. That is very true. News is, very dumb. Yeah, news media outlets tend to do some, well, shall we say, questionable things from time to time. But, this time the news isn't dumb because of, like, the media outlet reporting it. The news is dumb because of the thing itself. Like, the actual story that's being, covered. You know? Oh my... I cannot believe I didn't fall off there. I'm referring, of course, to Argentina. Everybody's favorite, soon-to-be third world country, which is very unfortunate for all the people of Argentina, unless you're a business owner. So, Javier Milei, I mentioned that he destroyed the Argentine economy overnight. That was the first destruction of the Argentine economy overnight that he did. He then turned around and said, but I'm not done yet, presumably in a Billy Mays voice, with very exaggerated tone, straight into the camera. And it got worse. From El País. I don't know how to pronounce that word in Spanish, but it is an Argentine newspaper. Milei begins dismantling the Argentine state by imposing 300 reforms in a single decree. And these reforms are all, like, repeals of existing regulations that now will go to the Argentine Congress, so they can either approve or reject it. Yeah, it eliminates dozens of state controls and enables the privatization of companies. Let's see here. In a 15-minute speech, he listed 30 of the 300 reforms. Okay, wow, so he only... The part that he talked about is only, like, 10% of this. Let's see. He's selling off soccer clubs, the health system, most other aspects of the Argentine economy. He's opening up free trade in Argentina, which, given Argentina's position, is a questionable decision, because that just means that foreign companies are going to come in and do the same thing that foreign companies always do in places like, I don't know, fucking Africa, Southeast Asia, wherever it is. What is Milei's connection to Miley Cyrus, and does she condemn him? I do not know, and yes. I don't know. I do not know anything that Miley Cyrus has been getting up to the past however long, but I assume that any person worth, like... Well, I would say worth their salt, but I would assume there's plenty of people willing to condemn Javier Milei, fucking, celebrity or otherwise. Let me get to some breathing room, that I can keep talking about this. To my recollection, I guess I can't recount specifically from the news articles themselves, at least not very frequently. This is like my country shutting down all the hospitals in the middle of COVID. Oh yeah, and he shut down the hospitals too. Or by shut down, I mean like sold off. He sold off the hospitals, the transit industry, the I think a couple of other industries as well. And the big thing, the two like really big things that I heard that sound small but are actually pretty big, is that now bus tickets are 10 times as expensive in Argentina. They cost 500 Argentinian pesos instead of 50. And now rent in Argentina will be in US dollars instead of Argentinian pesos, which means it is now twice as expensive. Because remember, he made the the peso only worth half of what it was. Also, I did not intend to be that aggro towards Beef Boss. If he ever sees this, I am sorry. This was just it was just like a reflex to hold the item out behind me. What? That hit me? Holy. I cannot believe that hit me. I thought for sure I was above that guy. Like above and to the right. Oh well. Yes. Javier Milei describes this as shock therapy for the economy, because we all know how well shock therapy works. That it plans to hike taxes for Argentina's grain exports. Key source of global supply for processed soybeans, corn, and wheat. I don't know whether that's going to positively or negatively affect the Argentine economy, but I can assume that he's not. I assume that he's just generally not being smart about what he's doing here. What else? What other sector was affected by this? Deregulation of the labor market as well. Right, okay, so he's deregulating the labor market, which means that it's probably going to involve some crackdowns on unions. Oh, which actually was another thing. Javier Milei announced that like he and his government would be cracking down on any protests that are happening as well. So in addition to privatizing and selling off the welfare system of Argentina to private like corporations and stuff, if his government identifies certain protesters, if you are identified as a protester in Argentina, you lose your social welfare benefits, which is absolutely insane. Like, you basically, you become depersoned. This is like the social credit fucking meme in China. Javier Milei is doing that, but like Western version, I guess. Similar to the privatizations in my country, no one's informed and just signed it all away. Yeah, and I was saying this raised a lot of eyebrows for me because, like, if you compare it to other countries, for some countries I can't really speak to that. Lithuania, I can't speak to that as much, but I can speak to the United States and France. The US didn't have as much of a social welfare system as countries like Argentina or France or Lithuania did. But they did, we did have something. And in both the US and France, it was a multiple decades long project in the 1980s, 90s, and 2000s, actually up until now. So 30 to 40 years long project. We have social credit in our schools in Lithuania. Oh, well, that can't go wrong at all. But, the dismantling of the welfare system in America, in France, in a few other countries, has been a decades-long political project that many people have disagreed with, many people have agreed with, etc. It's been a point of contention. But all of that, Javier Milei did in like 2 days. And that's not a good thing. I know, like, Javier Milei wanted to do this stuff, but the issue with the neoliberal vision of economics and whatever is that it's just is just bad. It just makes people more poor. And, whereas other countries were able to, in some ways, mildly absorb the impact of these draconian economic reforms over like tens of years, Argentina is going to get it all at once. Like Millet says, it is going to be like a shock therapy thing. It's going to completely decimate the Argentine economy. They're going to have nothing. The poverty rate in Argentina before Millet took office was 40%. That's going to explode now. Argentina's been like teetering on the edge of developed and developing country for some time, but this is going to send them all the way down to the depths with countries like fucking no, like states that you would find in sub-Saharan Africa, states that are really not in a good position economically speaking. Governing a very polarized society with powerful unions and organizations that are willing to stand up to the streets to any curtailment of their rights. The first demonstration took place on Wednesday afternoon. This was just 2 days ago, when more than 10,000 people took over the center of Buenos Aires amid a huge police deployment to protest against the large announced cut in public spending of about $20 billion. For a country like Argentina, that's a ton of money. In the United States, $20 billion in, for like public or private spending, whatever, that's chump change. The United States economy is so gargantuan that we chew up like $100 billion bills for breakfast, basically. But, Argentina is a bit smaller, both in terms of population and their influence on the world economy. So 20 billion is like, that's everything, just about. Or not everything, but it's a considerable chunk of their entire budget. In fact, I was reminded when this stuff started happening, I was reminded of Argentina's history of having been a dictatorship in the 20th century on into even like the 21st century, kind of on and off. Uh, and the way that Javier Milei is behaving, it seems like that's just gonna be what happens again. No, I thought I would have enough juice on that ramp to like go flying, but I guess not. What's up, Beef Boss? I'm gonna chain this. I need a box. I didn't get one. Get one up there. Cool. It's kind of sloppy, but it works. I'm somehow in 4th place. No, I was target shocked there. Ah, man. Nice. Reminds me of when we basically gifted our only oil refinery to an American company when privatization began. People will always find ways to profit. Yeah, that's right. And you could imagine that like that doesn't have any benefits for the Lithuanian economy. Maybe it has benefits for the American economy, but like common to both of them is that your average person isn't going to benefit from that. People who are already really wealthy are the ones that are going to benefit from that sort of privatization, you know? Like certainly this is going to hurt the country Argentina, like as a nation state, but it's going to hurt Argentinian people even more because the Argentinian state, like the country, is made up of the average people and the really rich people. And the really rich people are going to benefit tremendously from Javier Milei's presidency. So they're going to get like all the benefits of this stuff, all the, the business owners, the landlords, the, investors and whatever. And then people who are trying to work wage jobs and sometimes even salary jobs, like they're just going to get hung out to dry. It's like their livelihood is just going to be completely demolished by this, and so I think whatever else happens, there's going to be some pretty massive social upheaval. Like I mentioned, that there was already a massive protest, according to this one article. Things are going to get rough in Argentina, like for quite a while. Um, in fact, this might even be like the most extreme example of the resurgence of the far right, the most fast acting version of it in the Western world that we're seeing right now. Yeah. Wow, he was like a full vehicle length away from me and still got hit. That's kind of crazy. Or maybe he didn't get hit? I don't know. Okay. Give me this item. Yes. The best item in the game. I need another box. Damn it. That's not really what I wanted, but I can do something with this. Fucking damn it. Agent of Chaos moment. Alright. This is the for fun mode activated right now. Dude, Beef Boss is hanging with him. Beef Boss is the Beef Boss. That's how I can describe him, probably. I'm surprised there hasn't been a shock yet, I think. Or if there has, I don't remember it being in a particularly impactful spot. And I think I know where I want to use this golden mushroom. Assuming the shock doesn't happen first. I want to do this. The same as pass a new army reform, meaning more people will be conscripted. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Don't usually like to see that. Okay, there's the shock. Fifth? Okay, not bad. Only one person voted against it? Yikes. Oh, man. You hate to see that happen. I wonder what that conscription law says. Lithuanian parliament backs conscription reform. Oh, wait. Under the new model, conscription age limit would be set to 18 to 21 instead of the existing 18 to 23. Oh, and studies in higher education would not be seen as a reason to postpone military service. Yeah, okay. So people would be... Wait, this kind of fucked up. People would be required to become part of the Lithuanian military as part of their college? That's really dumb. This is the plan from the army directly. Just translate if you want to read it. Yeah, sure. Let me open this link. Where's my Google Translate extension? Damn it. I can't read it right now. Damn it. I almost got it in time, but not quite. Oops. I'm actually kind of glad those guys bumped me out of the way there. I should start taking those alternate routes, I think. Whew. Yeah, that worked out. Oh, okay. Had a feeling the shock would happen soon, but I didn't know it would happen right there. Beef boss in the bullet bill. God damn it, stole my bucks. Ah! No, stop bumping me off the road! Jesus, I swear that they don't actually have this much weight. This is an online thing. Alright. You get an extra credits when entering college. If you get training for 2 weeks. While in high school, basically teaching you guerrilla fighting. Okay. I mean, it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like pretty standard fare for a country that does this sort of conscription model. But it, like... I'll just defer back to what I said, that it's never really a good idea to have a conscription military if you don't need it. Like, if you're not actively at war. Like, even in America, like, during some wars, we didn't have draft. But, you know, I guess that's because it's America. It's a new thing that they teach you to shoot, survive in the wild, prepare MRE, prepare shelter in forest conditions. Those are useful things to know, but, you know. Here, translate the page, please. There we go. General Conscription Army. One type of military forces in the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. After 8th grade, they also teach citizen classes where you learn patriotic values. That actually sounds extremely sus. I don't know what the Lithuanian government is doing over there, but that sounds very sus. In fact, this is one of the biggest things that people criticize America for, that Americans criticize America for, is that there's all this sort of patriotic bullshit that you learn in school about, like, you literally get taught American exceptionalism as a thing in school, which is the nice way of saying that, like, you learn in school that America is better than the rest of the world. That's not true, but that's what kids are taught in this country. I know because I was also taught this. Yeah. And I have no doubt that, you know, it's probably about as bad in other countries where that exists. Wait, this is not the current policy, it seems. Whoa, what? That's wild. As we don't have to swear an oath of allegiance? Oh, you don't have to do that? Yeah, that's good, I guess. Yeah, in America, you have to, swear an oath of allegiance, whether you're in the military or whether you become a public officer. Which I guess on some level it makes sense, because it's like, oh, you're an officer of this country, so you can't, like, betray the country or something. But they do make us say the Pledge of Allegiance in school still, so. Beef boss. Okay. I'm just gonna get rid of these two. I'm at the school thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that is extremely weird that America does that, like, other countries don't do. All that Pledge of Allegiance shit. Oh yeah, public officers have to swear allegiance. Yeah, okay. That I was gonna say that makes sense. Have to follow their own law called the statute. Oh, interesting. Oh, guy fell off. Huh. I'm driving decently well this race, which is good. Where do I even use this red shell? God dang it, I took my eyes off the road and got owned. Yeah. Seems about right. Meat box. Mushroom. That's useful. Damn it. Well, it would have been useful. We also have a very popular militia group called the... I don't know how to pronounce that letter. Or shooters in English. Okay. And they have youth units where kids can join from the age of 13. That's pretty sus. You know, not sure about the whole inducting children into, like, militant groups. You know, I think that's a... Oh, it's pronounced sh? Okay, shalia. Chalier? Chalier. Well, whatever it is. But, okay, so it's a sh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, not sure about inducting kids into, like, a militia group at middle school age. Or I guess high school age for some. Don't think that'd be a good idea. Like Boy Scouts with guns. Yeah, and I think the Boy Scouts are incredibly cringe, because the Boy Scouts in America are like a weird patriotic nationalistic thing. that just happen to do some public works projects. And they do marches and shit. Yeah, sounds about right. Where's the... Huh. Tactical training have their own uniforms and even military ranks. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. The kids, I mean. Yeah, that I know, that's what I meant when I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't think I like that idea of having like the whole militaristic experience for children. Jungle Glade. I think I remember what this track is. This is the... It's a really pretty track, isn't it? No, okay, it's a different one, but still cool. I used to be a member as a kid, but you quit since the chief of your unit was annoying as hell. I can imagine, I guess. I hope you had a good experience, though. But, like, you know. Or at least not too bad of an experience. Dang it, I didn't get a box. God dang it. Ah. I learned how to shoot very well. That's cool. I'm mentally ill, so I can't be trusted with a weapon. I think I know where I want to use this. Like, I have an idea. There's a shortcut up here, right? Yeah, there is. Wait, no, I missed it. Crap. Alright, that's fine. I'll just use it here. I guess you're not supposed to trick off that other one. Ow. The adult members of the militia basically just help patrol the border and help out the real members of the army in other ways? Okay. Damn it. I'm just getting messed up. Militia, but militarized organization. That's what a militia is. Oh, jeez. Trying to do double duty has its drawbacks. I'm working on it. Alright. Let's go. Next race. I'm reading this article about Argentina here. These types of demonstration. Oh, wait, let's see. Hold on. Hours later, after hearing the reading of the presidential decree, protest was revived among the urban middle class. By that they probably mean the urban working class, because there is no such thing as the middle class. Um, outraged neighbors expressed their rejection by banging pots and pans from the balconies of Buenos Aires and other large cities in the country. That sounds cool, actually. Protesters gathered gradually on main avenues of every neighborhood, and hundreds of them decided to march together to the doors of Congress, where many drivers honked their horns in sign of support. These types of demonstrations became popular in 2001. Oh shit, Argentina lore? When the worst economic and social crisis in Argentina's recent history broke out. Um, the opposition party harshly condemned the decree because, obviously, uh, one of the most critical voices said that Milei proposes to privatize everything, deregulate everything, destroy workers' rights, destroy entire sectors of production, raffle off soccer clubs and the heritage of Argentines. All this without going through Congress, which could meet and discuss it. He fell just short of saying out with democracy. And the left in Argentina is now urging unions to call a general strike. Huh. Oh. I'm bagging. Yeah, give me that. Ooh, perfect. Alright, where's this thing again? It's right here. Yeah. Don't... Ah! Damn it, I fell off. That lets me open this up again. Now I can see Twitch again. Got an idea. There we go. That was my idea. My idea was to target shock first and second. What's up, Beef Boss? I'm getting owned. That's fine, I'll just get a box. Oh, cool. I dodged. I guess that's a thing you can do. Okay. I can't tell if he has an item. Okay, he had a red shell. I have kind of learned how to play this track. Like, a little bit. Damn it! Ah! That POW actually did me in there. Have you seen China rebuilding nuclear weapon testing facilities? I have not, but that seems like pretty standard fare for whatever China gets up to. Ah, I tried with that bomb. I don't know if I've mentioned this on stream before, but countries launching their nuclear capabilities, or like developing their nuclear capabilities, is only really newsworthy for countries that did not have nukes before. Because nukes are a form of geopolitical leverage that really only exists in terms of like implied force. What I mean by that is, nobody in the world that is in charge of a country right now wants to be the guy that pressed the button that ended the world. We have old decaying nuclear launch pads, just saying, America. That's true, although with the modern technology that the United States uses for its nukes, we actually don't really need to have nuclear platforms in other countries. We can launch nukes from the United States and they can hit anywhere on the planet. But I think your implication is correct that it would certainly help if there was a nuclear deterrent sitting on the border of Russia, at least beforehand. Now I don't think the Russians would react the same way. I think Russia would like take that as a sign of aggression and try to like attack the Baltics, maybe. I don't know. Again, I don't think anybody's actually that insane to start nuclear war over this. But I think that the moving around of nukes by countries that already have them is not really a necessary thing anymore. And China had nukes before this, so this is really just them maintaining their leverage that they already had. In fact, this is the only reason that Russia is still relevant in geopolitics, is because they have nukes. Russia doesn't have much of a they don't have a very powerful economy. They have an economy to speak of, kind of, but it like nowhere near the level of countries that have similar populations. Nowhere near the level of China or the United States, or even like somewhere like Germany has a stronger economic influence than Russia. They might do that to break Western support. They would never in a million years. Trust me when I say that. You guys are safe. The only way that Russia would ever consider invading the Baltics is under two circumstances. One, if the war would not go nuclear, because they would lose. And two, if NATO wouldn't join, which they will. Article 5 is a legally binding thing. It has much more historical precedent than any of the individual pacts and alliances that we've made, say, with countries that are not in NATO or with Ukraine or whatever. Russian media talking about invading the Baltics. Oh, yeah, they talk about that every 5 fucking seconds, and they try to scare the smaller countries, but they're not fooling the actual, like, relevant players in the game here, Same talking points from Ukraine war. Yeah, and you know what they did? A whole fucking load of nothing. They did invade Ukraine, but that's only because Ukraine actually wasn't a part of NATO, and didn't have nukes. I am confident in saying if Ukraine either was a member of NATO or had nukes, Russia would never in a million years have invaded. Still blockading Kaliningrad, Russia L. Lamau. Yeah, true. Russia has been taking a lot of L's. China's also lifted sanctions on us not that long ago. So maybe it's cooling off. What's like the tensions and stuff? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if tensions were cooling off. Look, the geopolitical situation right now between the United States and China is stable enough. I'm not going to say that geopolitics are stable, because that would be a lie. I'd be lying to everybody, including myself. But there's certainly like the risk of nuclear war right now is very, very low. Like we're not talking about anywhere even close to the level of danger that we saw in the Cold War. Oh yeah, just bored, I guess. Yeah, you can only keep that up for so long. And I guess they felt like it was just a virtue signal more than anything. Because, like, obviously no offense meant to, like, Lithuanians, but Lithuania is a small country. They were mad that we made an embassy to Taiwan. Yeah, okay, so it was a whole, like, well, I'm not gonna let you have our cookies or something. Yeah. The left is urging unions to call a general strike in Argentina. In Argentina, I could actually see that working. There are a lot of countries where people will argue general strike now, mass strike now, or whatever. And if that worked, it would work, but it wouldn't, like, nobody would turn out. When Taiwan bought far more Lithuanian products than China ever did, they failed miserably. Yeah, I mean, like, sanctions are another thing. They can be used as a geopolitical tool, or they can be genuinely used as an economic tool. They'll get a lot of suppression from the Argentinian government. Oh, yeah, of course. The point of the general strike in Argentina, right? The point of a general strike down there would be that enough people are striking that the government could not effectively suppress all of them. You know, since the government in Argentina has announced its intention to basically black bag and completely, like, write out of the whole government any protester that they identify, that gives people a lot more reason to be angry at the government and to be potentially willing to participate in protests and strikes and stuff. Basically, the conditions exist for a general strike to be possible in Argentina, but they don't in a place like America. Ow. I will instead get an item box. I'm really not racing super well this race. Ow! Damn it! I take my eyes off the road for 1 fucking second, and then that happens. I'll let Markiplier go across there, and then... There we go. We make a lot of lasers, like Taiwan makes microchips? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm not going to respond to chat for the rest of this race, I think, because I want to actually be able to drive, and I can't drive right now. This is supposed to be out here. Okay. Dude, it's Dio. I'm holding on to this mushroom. You know, third place. I'm not confident I would get a better item than a single mushroom. Oh my god, dude. I meant to hop. The game ate my jump input. Ow. Damn it, Beef Boss. After all I did for you. After all I tried to do for you, I should say. I gotta pull it together. I'm really not satisfied with how I'm driving. You're seeing how many mistakes I'm making. Holy shit. I'm like bumping into walls, I'm messing up shortcuts, I'm messing up everything. There isn't a single turn, I think, where I've actually taken the turn well and not messed up. And that's starting to get to me. New Moon Manor. Cool. Jeez. And You know, I was thinking about whether or not I should talk about what's going on in Israel and Gaza, because I think that point has been belabored by, like, everybody. Am I back? I'm back. All right. Jeez, man. All right. Sorry, I cut out there. I really cut out there. I was just gonna say that, like, I know everybody has talked about Israel and Gaza, but I think there's something that I want to add to that as well. Um, but I have to put it in the proper context, right? And the context is the current situation where, according to this new UN report, the entire population of Gaza, unsurprisingly, is facing a famine. 2.2 million, the entire population, are in crisis or worse levels of acute food insecurity. You know, the UN has these levels of how it measures food insecurity and stuff, right? And so everybody is either at like level 2 out of like 4 or worse, you know, where level 0 was like level 0 is you're stable, level 1 is, you know, you're like under stress, level 2 is crisis, level 3 is like at active risk of famine, like you go more than a day at a time without food, and like level 4 is you are starving to death, you know. uh Such is the situation on the ground in Gaza, and 576,000 people are at level 3 or worse. Close to our population, but packed into one city, pretty much. Yeah, the entire Gaza Strip is smaller than just Manhattan, I think. Like, there are American cities with less people in more space. Like Chicago. Chicago is an American city. How many people live in Chicago? 2.697 million. So only a little bit more people, with more than twice as much space, I think, in the city. And you know, this comes off the heels of Israel bombing and bombing and bombing and then bombing the refugee camps and bombing the places they told people to evacuate to and whatever. And at this point, I think it's pretty plainly evident that Israel is committing a genocide. Now, I could point to any of the obvious examples where people have gone on TV and said that we need to purge the entire population of Gaza and then resettle it ourselves, which is the textbook definition of how you would carry out a genocide. You kill all the existing population, you move your people in, right? But you don't need that open admission in order to determine whether or not Israel is doing a genocide here, right? You can sort of measure intent by other means there. And the other means that I refer to is like, what are the things that they could be doing, right? And the only thing that they really could be doing is a genocide. You know, a lot of the proponents of Israel's actions, the people who support Israel, some of them who don't openly say, yeah, Israel is trying to kill all the Gazans, but that's good actually, will most often invoke the argument of that they are pursuing terrorists, right? In a way that's meant to evoke the sort of war on terror that we're familiar with in the States and the West and wherever. But there is a way that you conduct stuff like that, and in the United States war on terror, there were such things as rules of engagement, and I'm messing up all over the place again, right? There are rules of engagement when you're fighting a war against terror, when you're fighting any sort of war, and that is the like, what are the quote-unquote acceptable, like, civilian casualties or whatever, which is fucked up in its own right, because it's like, we can accept civilian deaths if it means X, Y, or Z happens. But there is a limit. There, like, America and other countries actually will say, like, if more than this many civilians die, we actually, like, we won't do this. Like, it's not worth it. But Israel has not shown that kind of restraint ever in their dealings in Gaza. Even by Israel's own admission, with numbers that they themselves have made up, 61% of the people that they have killed are civilians. And if you go by UN estimates, which I believe to be much more reliable than whatever statistics Israel is willing to publish, then they've killed around 90 to 95%, or even as high as like 99% civilians. You know, so it's clear that they're not following the rules of engagement, and they know that they're not following ethical rules of engagement. They know that they are not killing terrorists so much as they are killing civilians, right? And they're okay with that. Which means that this is not an effective way of getting rid of terrorism, because all you do by killing civilians is you harden people against your country. This is one of the things that America learned, even with rules of engagement that were much better than what Israel does. Civilian deaths and a prolonged military occupation resulted in people really not liking America and the countries that we were occupying, and that actually created more, nationalistic, pro-terrorist sentiment when we were there and like as we were leaving and stuff. And to be honest, that's the only argument that I've heard. The only argument that I've heard that is not like outright Israel is doing the genocide, but that's okay, actually, which is an unhinged argument, is, oh, Israel is trying to pursue the terrorists that did the terror attacks on October 7th. Which is also a lie, because Israel has not been interested in actually understanding what made those attacks happen, and is not interested in pursuing a peace process that would actually prevent things like that from happening in the future. Israel needs to chill. They don't even listen to the Americans like a dog at the leash. Yeah, and here's the thing as well. Like, America has been unwilling to make them listen. You know, like, the dog on the leash metaphor is pretty apt, or simile in this case, is pretty apt, because Israel's existence is entirely contingent on the aid that the United States sends them. If the United States stops supplying Israel with the stuff it needs for the Iron Dome to maintain its military, in terms of like other foreign aid packages, then there is no Israel. President Biden has even said, this was a long time ago, but when he was a senator, he said, were there not an Israel, the United States would need to invent one. So it's very clear that like, the reason Israel exists is at the behest of the United States and to be used as a military base, which obviously is nothing new in geopolitics, but like, I think it speaks to the degree of American complicity in this as well. And, you know, again, it's frankly, it is really not hard to determine that, like, Israel is conducting, like, an ethnic cleansing at the very least. Like, just the wholesale displacement of everybody out of Gaza so that their people can move in. You know, and I don't really know, at this point, I don't know who needs to hear that, but I think it's important that people hear it, maybe even if they don't need to, because there are predictable ways that this happens, right? The dehumanizing language is one thing, of course, where they talk about all of the population as though they are terrorists, and they talk about them as though, oh, they just live in filth and whatever, you know, and they sort of, without openly justifying it, they lay the ground to then justify the slaughter of civilians. Avdiivka. Oh, did the Russian military capture a Ukrainian city? That's unfortunate. Yeah, and I fully agree. America should completely withdraw aid from Israel at this juncture and support Ukraine, because first of all, Ukraine is morally in the right, where, you know, even though I'm not a huge fan of the concept of nation states, clearly you have a militaristic neighbor that invaded Ukraine and is doing unspeakable things to the civilian population there. And the Ukrainian people are attempting to defend themselves from that. You know, um, and of course the cherry on top being that Ukraine is a much better representation of democratic values than Israel is. Although obviously that's only something the United States says it cares about. That's not something the United States actually cares about. Only in the industrial district. They just took it. The city won't hold out for long, though, probably. Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, and that tends to be how those sieges kind of play out. You know, first one area of the city falls, then the next, then the next. Yeah. And the other reason I think that the United States should just ditch Israel is that Israel isn't even a good geopolitical ally for us in the Middle East. All of the instability that is occurring in the Middle East right now is partly Israel's fault. Like they have done more harm to US interests than they have done good. So even on those grounds, they don't make for a good U.S. ally. The only reason I think the U.S. really keeps them around is because one, historical inertia, and two, there are a lot of insane Zionists in America, as well as people who like confuse Jewish state for like Jewish people. You know, like, oh, Zionism equals we support the Jews, which is not true, but that's one of the reasons. Literally any other country in the Middle East would make for a better ally than Israel. Even Turkey isn't that bad, like compared to Israel. And Turkey has done some really bad stuff in the Middle East. It's just Israel's just that much worse. You know, I think I had this discussion on another stream with somebody who said that like that, you know, phrased it almost in terms of like top tier, like a tier list of countries. America is powerful enough that we could start normalizing diplomatic relations with any country in the Middle East that we wanted to, and then turn them into the ally that would actually do more or less what we would want them to do and would act in a way that benefits us. Like, you know, take Iraq, for example. You know, even though Iran, I think, has more connections with Iraq than the United States does or could right now. Yeah, anyways. Israel is just... I mean, they're Israel. That's might even be the only way I could describe them right now. They're not doing us much good. Hell, their people don't even like the government there. You know? Ah, blue shell. Nice. I think this way's faster. Like this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. I guess the point of all like me talking about Israel and Gaza and the things that Israel is doing is that it might seem like the indicators of when a genocide is about to happen are obvious, but to a lot of people they aren't. And even when they are, it's important to know what they are. You know, the dehumanizing language as a part of the mainstream news narrative, you know, and then the disregard for civilian life, the sort of and I guess, you know, at the last stage, the wholesale mass slaughter of civilians, the doublespeak as well. A lot of times Israel will talk out of both sides of its mouth, saying two contradictory things. That like, oh, Israel doesn't kill civilians, but also all the civilians that we did kill are Hamas. Actually, that will usually indicate somebody's intent if they're talking about this issue. You know, because to be honest, I feel myself such a fool for ever like giving this like talking point the time of day, but this was never about Hamas. You know, Israel was just waiting for the excuse to like jump to action here. You know, like certainly Hamas did that attack, and that attack was bad, and Hamas is bad for doing it. But like that was never the issue, like the main issue or the source of the issue here. Also, I don't know how that guy did that. Is that faster? I don't know if that's faster. Ow! Dude, I'm getting owned. No, don't blow me up. Okay. Ooh, shot. I do. 3 mushrooms. I guess I can take that. Oh, I'm surprised that worked. How do you do that? I don't understand. Dude, I'm telling you. It's like I was saying last time. I can't hang with the sweat lords in this game anymore. Give me a box. 3 mushrooms? That's not bad. No! Damn it. I had to go for it. It would have been cool if I made it, but alas. Okay, what are they doing there? Okay, it's just that, I guess. Alright. One of the members, the same as from the Labour Party, will have to work from prison. Will now serves him right. What? What's going on there? Did they, like, commit some financial crimes or some shit? They didn't impeach him? Oh. Oh, okay, I gotcha. He's still an MP. He's still a politician, but since he got arrested and sent to prison, he has to do his job from prison now. That's pretty funny. Oh yeah, also there's another thing that makes it very easy to tell that this is a genocide. Is not just the wanton disregard of civilian life in military campaigns, but also the fact that Israel has been blocking humanitarian aid to Gaza. Like they're not allowing food, water, concrete, and like I mean really anything else to get into the Gaza Strip. Anything that people would need in order to survive, Israel has been actively preventing from crossing the border into Gaza. And they've been again, they've been putting out dehumanizing rhetoric and talking points to this effect, where they'll say stuff like, "Oh, we don't want Hamas having, being able to get food and water to get back on their feet," or like whatever, which is really stupid. No, dude. Got him. Funny. Ow. I guess that way's faster, huh? Nice going. We abstained from the UN vote to recognize the state of Palestine because America and Israel, sadly, we have to fear them. Yeah, I saw that's a thing that countries have been doing where instead of just voting yes or no outright, they'll like abstain because they know like we have to still be allies with America. Like I think Ukraine did this in the recent vote where like we still want America to like us, but also like what Israel's doing here is just completely monstrous and we can't support it. So we're just gonna abstain from voting. Got him. First place. LA has a bigger population than Lithuania. Sadly, we have to do that. Well, yeah, that's one of the consequences of being a small country in the current like world stage. 2.8 million, huh? Hmm. Island. After this race, I think I'm gonna try to reconnect with that bigger room. I don't know what was going on there. We used to have almost 4 million. Yeah, I saw right about at the time of the dissolution of the Soviet Union, things really, like, the population really started to decline. I assume that that has to do at least a little bit with, like, the shock doctrine afterwards. Yeah. Yeah, the EU is a very imperfect political organization. Ultimately, I don't think it's smart to be like Eurosceptic because it's like your economy would like any given country would have a much weaker economy on its own than it would have as a part of the EU. But yeah, that is a thing. Because of emigration, yeah. Emigration has lowered as we develop though, yeah. Yeah, that tends to be a consequence of like well, material development is that when your country becomes more comfortable to live in, then people will stay, you know. What's going on back there? Get hit by something? Huh. So far, so good. Pretty sure our population hasn't recovered from the Northern War in the 1800s. I want to take a look at that. After this race, I might take a look at that. There we go. Great Northern War casualties. Oh, that just covers battles. Hold on. Casualties and losses. Total 200,000 dead from the Swedish end of things. $110,000 plus killed by famine, disease, and exhaustion. Likely much higher figure based on the circumstances of campaigns and battles. Hard to say. Really hard to say with that sort of thing. People mostly died from the plague. Yeah, I mean, Europe in general was stricken by... What was it? I forget if it was smallpox or something else at that time. But yeah, there was a lot of deaths in Europe around the turn of the 18th century and like the early 18th century and stuff. But no, you know what? No, I think Europe has recovered, and I think Lithuania as well has recovered from that specifically, because if it's citing 110,000 plus and it's like, oh, well, likely there was a lot more, that means I could see at most 3 or 400,000 across the entire, like, at the time, Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Which is a lot, but the population since the 1800s in those regions has increased far, far beyond that. Population was 6 million back then. I would be wary of that number until I looked at it, so let me look at it. Lithuania population 1800s? No. In 1800, the population of the area, well, this is a little bit after, but the estimated population of modern-day Lithuania in the year 1800 was under 1 million. And I'm willing to bet that in 17, like, before the plague was over, it was even lower than that. And before the plague hit as well. I don't think that 2.8 million is the number that we're working with for the modern-day Lithuania. Now, if we want to talk Ireland, that's a different story, because we do have population statistics to suggest that Ireland was home to about 6 million people before the famine there, and still hasn't recovered. Or was it like, maybe it was more than 6 million. You never really fact-checked it, you heard from a TikTok, and that's a big red flag. You always want to fact-check claims, especially, like, don't get any information from TikTok ever. Like, oh, I saw a TikTok about it. Like, that is the modern version of, like, I saw a Facebook post about it, kind of. Which, it's got to be said, it is kind of hard to distinguish what is or isn't disinformation on TikTok if you're new to the format, because people are much better at presenting that stuff now than they used to be. It used to be really obvious when somebody was just making some shit up, but you add just a couple of bits of presentational flair, all of a sudden it's a little bit more difficult to tell, so just be skeptical in the future. War's given us one banger of a song, though. Ooh. I don't want to get copyright struck, but I will give it a Well, I don't know if it's copyright. It's probably public domain. I'll check it out after the race. Please don't let there be a blue shell. Please. I would like it very much if there wasn't a blue shell right now. Damn it. Through. Ah, I'm gonna win! Lyrics are old. AF is just sung by a music group that does these kinds of historic songs. Oh, okay, okay.
Ой, шармукшня, курту ауги тарбалу. Ай-яй-я, курту ауги тарбалу. Курту ауги тарбалу, тарбшу жалу саману.
Damn, I didn't know they did bass drops in the 18th century. That's pretty cool. Least bass medieval music? Now, be careful. A lot of medieval music was mostly about glorifying the state and the aristocracy. It even uses a Nordic slur? That makes it funnier, for sure. Banana. Hidden banana. Haha. Oh, you almost got me with that one. I'm holding this banana. Oh, that was a really smart POW. Swedish Juveda, which means fish eater, but like in a derogatory way, presumably. Huh. That was insane how tight I was able to take that turn. Also, for context, in Lithuanian, Eda is used for animal and Valgo for humans. Okay. Ow. Cool. X-rays, please. Oh, yeah. Fucking... Dude, I don't know what's going on Twitter, recently, but, like... I mentioned that Twitter's on its, like, hating men arc or some shit. Somebody posted something that I'm almost positive is bait, so I was considering just not even talking about it at all. But it was a short video of a guy crying at his wedding, which I thought was cute because it's like, oh, this is a really happy moment for him. And I don't remember whether it was like a straight wedding or a gay wedding. It just showed the guy crying. And somebody like quote tweeted the video or posted the video and said like, Oh, the men deserve it? No, they fucking don't. Okay, so, um, like, this guy was crying at his wedding. It was clearly, like, a huge... As a man, I agree with man-hating. Well, I'm a man and I don't agree with man-hating, so your position is invalidated because this is not a matter of identity politics. This is a matter of what begets good or bad outcomes. And hating men does not beget good outcomes. So, but then, like, somebody posted, you know, ugh, man, you know, how's this guy gonna be crying at his wedding or whatever? You know, like, man up. I'm joking, I love men. Oh, okay, sorry. It's hard to read that over chat. I gotcha. But yeah, it, like, they said, like, I think they actually said, like, how are you gonna be crying at your own wedding or something? It's like, bro, what? Like, where else would I, like, would you expect me to not cry at my wedding? Like, okay. And you know, of course, everybody was ratioing the hell out of this tweet. It's like, and that's why I said, like, this has to be bait. Like, nobody actually agrees with this. But honestly, it gets harder and harder to tell for me. Oh, blue shell. Oh, that's a tight timing that you have to get there. I was looking back and didn't see the very obvious fake item box. Rolling for content. Ah! That's not the way you're supposed to go. God damn it. Ah! I'm back to driving really bad. Have you ever heard of Keffels and Xanderhall? I love those guys. They're good. I have seen that they've been going through some drama, which I have stayed out of entirely. I don't want to know what's going on there. I just hope they sort it out, because I like Keffels, and I also like Xanderhall. I do know that Keffels is, like, a lot more drama-pilled, I think, than a lot of the other lefty content creators that I watch. Ah! I am driving so bad. I don't watch Zan anymore since he did a pretty shitty thing, hopefully by accident, though. Yeah, I mean, everybody does shitty things. I guess I'm waiting to see how the drama ends, because eventually it will end. Online drama doesn't persist forever. Yeah. They will never be friends again, sadly. That tends to happen. That tends to happen. And that's one of the, like, the dangers of being a content creator as well. You get into those parasocial vortexes, and you, like, you can lose friendships over stuff, and you can inadvertently, or even just, like, you make a big mistake that you end up doubling down on and whatever. Dan signal boosted Keffel's shitty X. Yeah, that was pretty shitty, I think. Yeah. This track again. Okay, yeah, wow, that is faster than what I was doing before. Okay, so the shortcut coming up is up here, and it's before that fence. So how do I do it? Like that. Okay, cool. No, I got owned by the water. Oh, cool. Oh my god, I did not know he had that kind of power to bump me, but okay. Yeah, rip indeed. I didn't mean to trick there. Alright, fine, I'll use a star. Another star. Interesting. Now, can I do that shortcut with the star? That is the question. We're about to find out, I guess. You can. Alright, cool. That was pretty cool shortcut. Let's throw that. Probably going to do the same shortcut again. Damn it. I've been foiled! Aha! Oh, okay, well. Oh, the blue shell couldn't catch up to them in time. I see. Oh well, I'm satisfied with how I drove that race. I think that was pretty good. Oh, here's another thing that I've been sitting on for a couple of days. I didn't really have the opportunity to talk about it, but the American Supreme Court is very cringe, in fact, many such cases. There's, like, usually in a tin pot dictatorship or whatever, in a dictatorial country, you'll see, like, oh, the president or the king or whatever has unchecked power. Like, they can just do what they want, and there's nothing that anybody can do to stop them. We have that in the United States. It's just not the president. It's the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court in the United States are completely unaccountable to everybody except for themselves. There are no ethical standards for the courts, which means that they can commit financial crimes and get away with it. Like, it's kind of hard to exaggerate what they would be able to get away with because it is literally everything. We also have a Supreme Court here. Most countries do have a Supreme Court or like some version of the Supreme Court. But I feel like the United States might be the most unique in terms of like how unaccountable it is to the other branches of government. One of your relatives was a member? That's actually pretty cool. But one of the judges on our Supreme Court is a guy named Clarence Thomas, and he had like, you don't need to remember his name, but but what I like want to talk about is just that he's like the most corrupt judge on the court right now, and he's just done all sorts of shit. And in fact, it came out recently in a news article that when he was this is still when he was a judge on the court, because judges are appointed for life on the American courts. He was considering stepping down from the courts because he was like, hey, you know, you guys aren't paying me enough. Literally, he he wrote a letter to a right-wing politician. He was like, yeah, I don't get as much money as I want to for this job, so I might leave the court. And so the right-wing party was like, okay, fine, we'll increase your salary, and shit like that. And they couldn't get that bill passed. They couldn't pass the bill to increase the salary, not right away anyways, of the justices. So instead what they did was they hooked them up with some big, like, business people and just had them finance their lifestyle. Which is absolutely insane that this is just a thing that happens. Our Supreme Court only reviews judgments and can't interpret the Constitution. It's not as bad as America. Yeah, America's pretty fucking bad. Of course, how could that go wrong? Yeah. Like, you know, reviewing judgments obviously can have problems of its own, but, like, that's a much better model of the Supreme Court than what we do, which is whatever the Supreme Court justices say, that's the Constitution now. Which is fucking insane. We have a constitutional court? Okay. And yeah, like I said, you know, most countries have some version of that. But, like, the Supreme Court can just do all of that. And when the Supreme Court says something, nobody else can say anything. Like, you know, if the Supreme Court decides something, the only people who can, like, change that is the Supreme Court again. Which is wild. Although I think the biggest offense for our Supreme Court is that judges are unelected and rule for life. Holy... Alright. I did not think that would work when I went for it. I know this track pretty well. It's kind of crazy. Let's see here. There's some letters here, some screenshots, which is really funny to me. Some downright insane shit. Let's see. So at one point, Judge Thomas, this is the guy that I'm talking about, the most corrupt judge in America, brought up the prospect of justices resigning to a right-wing lawmaker. Worried, that lawmaker wrote a letter to Thomas, to the judge after the flight that they were on, promising, quote, to look into a bill to raise the salaries of members of the Supreme Court. He said, like, yeah, we have to have the proper incentives for people to stay on the court. But keep in mind, the salary, I actually happen to know the salary data. The salary for a court judge, Supreme Court judge, in the year 2000, which is when that exchange happened, was $170,000. In 2023, that's the equivalent of $300,000. So this guy, this judge, was getting paid $300,000 a year, and he was like, it's not enough. You know, I want to be paid more. Which is insane. Our Constitution says everyone shall have the right to have his own convictions and freely express them. No one must be hindered from seeking, receiving, or imparting information and ideas. Which is pretty cool. Meanwhile, you can't even hang up a communist symbol in your own yard. Yeah, that's pretty fucked. The more money, the better amount. Yeah, it always tends to be that, doesn't it? Oh, what happened to that guy? Ooh. You know what? It might be. I've figured it out. I think the fact that my room is a little bit warmer than usual is throwing me off. Oh well. I'm still driving pretty alright though. Give me an item, please. You know, in the United States, we had a similar discourse in the 1990s, during the first Gulf War. We don't have freedom of speech for misinformation like in America. Yeah, that's something that, like, legally speaking, you might be able to make a stronger argument for or whatever. Maybe. But, like, I ultimately think that freedom of speech should even apply to that. And like I was gonna, you know, say, like, that's a hot button topic right now, misinformation. But, like, in the 1990s, there was a lot of discourse about burning the U.S. flag, because a lot of people were burning American flags in protests during the Gulf War. And a lot of conservatives argued that burning the U.S. flag should be illegal. And the Supreme Court at the time, I think, actually specifically ruled, yes, free speech does include burning an American flag if you decide to do that. You know, so, like, if you decide to burn an American flag, that's fine. You know, just like in America, it's legal to have a swastika or hammer and sickle, but there's no guarantee that you're not going to get punched for it, you know? And as far as misinformation goes, right? Should people have the right to spread, like, to say something that is misinformation if they choose to? Yeah, freedom of speech includes, like, the freedom to lie if you want. And, like, that can have consequences, and stuff. But that the freedom to spread misinformation and whatever, like, the freedom of speech also means that, like, people and organizations have the right to say, hey, this is misinformation, don't trust this, right? And, you know, I don't want to be one of those make up your own mind types, but there is a pre-existing, like, framework of social institutions that will, like, that will be able to more or less handle the concept of misinformation. Maybe not especially well, but I think that the whole what we have now for handling misinformation is better than if there was a law, like an actual law against it, where you could be legally punished if you said something false or if you lied. You know, lying under certain circumstances obviously is illegal. Like, you can't lie in a courtroom and stuff. You'll get punished for that. At least you should, anyways. Same thing with, like, lying in under oath, where, like, if you're in front of the Congress or whoever else. But, like, on its own, if you just lie, or if you post like an image of a fake article, you know? I'm gonna chain this. You should be able to lie, I think. Yeah. It's just like I said. It's like there are very specific circumstances where it's like, oh, you are actually not allowed to lie according to the law. Like, it's just the courtroom and like in Congress and like as part of a government function or whatever. Like, they're very limited circumstances. Anywho. So let's see. Let's judge. I think they got a raise in the end, right? And then oh wow. Around the time Judge Thomas was also allowing we have the right to strike for our workers in the Constitution. Does America have that? No, actually. We don't have that explicitly, but I think it's ruled that striking is constitutional under the First Amendment. Striking is a form of free expression, I think. But that's not written specifically in the Constitution of the United States. Yeah. Like, the American Constitution is not a long document. I've read the whole Constitution. But yeah, I think at some point the right for people to go on strike was decided in like a court case or a legal suit, and they decided, yeah, this like striking is included when we say free speech and free expression, so it is protected by the Constitution, but it's not mentioned by name in the Constitution. And honestly, that's the only way that the American Constitution has changed since the 1990s. Like, when was there have been a couple of amendments in the 20th century. It's been forever since the last constitutional amendment. We also have annual paid leave in our Constitution. We definitely don't have that in our Constitution because, you know, not a thing in America, unfortunately. In fact, that's one of the hot button political battles going on right now in America, is people are trying to get that passed into a law. We were a young country, that's probably why. We were only created in 1918. Yeah, and in fact, I think that's also like the reason that you guys have the stuff like annual paid leave protected in your Constitution is probably because like there were more social democratic standards and whatever at the time that the Constitution was written. You know, like the U.S. Constitution was written in fucking 1789. Kind of crazy, honestly, that like our Constitution hasn't been clarified since then, or like they haven't changed any of the verbiage. But yeah. We also have free healthcare in our Constitution. We don't have that in ours, unfortunately. Honestly, the Constitution for the United States is extremely bare bones. You know, like there's not that much in there. And we have that marriage is between a man and a woman in our Constitution. That is unfortunate. Thankfully, that's one thing that we don't have in our Constitution. In fact, it's not written explicitly, but it is protected by the Constitution that gay marriage is fine. There was a court case about it in 2015, and the court decided, yeah, actually, refusing to do gay marriage is a violation of that part in the Constitution that says equal protection under the law. There's the Constitution of the United States is just super fucking vague, and they decided, yeah, this means that gay people are protected too. Any religion is accepted under the Constitution as long as it doesn't defy public morals. That's really weird. Like a weird way of phrasing it. The U.S. Constitution just says that all religion is fine, and that the state can't decide that it prefers one religion over another. That's one of the few things that's written out super fucking clearly in the American Constitution. The state shall establish no law respecting the state shall make no law respecting the establishment of a religion or whatever. You know? Is this mirror mode? No, this is 150cc. The other time was mirror. No! God damn it. I keep getting bumped all over the place. Alright. Yeah! Use the bullet bill to take the shortcut. I love that you can actually do that nowadays. And I'm still in the back, because everybody did the shortcut. I'll just go ahead and throw that. The state shall recognize the churches and religious organizations that are traditional in Lithuania. Other churches and religious organizations shall be recognized provided that they have support in society and their teaching and practice are not in conflict with the law and public morals. Okay. Specifying the law is so basically Christianity is protected. Okay. Yeah, the public moral stuff basically opens up to be like freedom of religions that we like, but you know, not the ones that we don't. So there we go. Finally managed to do that shortcut. Yeah. You know what's funny is in America at the time of the like Constitution being written, the debate wasn't about like Christianity versus other religions so much as it was about the right kind of Christianity versus the other kinds of Christianity. Like, damn it, I didn't get a box. Paganism is protected since it's traditional? Okay. This is a really sloppy last race, but I have to end it after this race. Today was not the day to live stream, I think. God damn it. That last race was all bad. That was more frustrating than I would have liked it to be. Kind of ended out the year with a whimper, but either way. Thanks for watching. I will be back. Like 5,000 believers. Okay. I'll be back in January of 2024. Until then, enjoy whatever. Bye. Have a nice evening. Thank you, you too. No raid today, by the way. Just gonna end stream.